Hi, I'm Dobby, but you can call me Dobbs. This is the 20th book review in my 100 Books in 2018 challenge. Today I'll be reviewing The River by Gary Paulsen. The River is the second, well, it's not really the second book, but it's in the series of the Brian books. The first one is probably Hatchet. Hatchet, I read in my school, actually. And it was about this boy named Brian, and he was in a plane going to visit his dad. But some things happen, and the plane crashes, and Brian has to survive in the Canadian, right? Yeah, Canadian wilderness with just a hatchet. A hatchet is like a little axe. It's like an axe, but it's like a small axe that you can hold on your belt. And in the river, it's kind of like it's next in the series, but then you can also go a different way, which is there's another book that I'm reading called Brian's Winter. But the river is after Brian gets out, the government comes to his house. This is like, I think this is, 2 years later, the government comes to his house to ask Brian if you can go into the forest and survive again. They actually says that it says, "We want you to do it again." These words spoken to Brian Robeson change his life. But this time he's not going to be alone in the wilderness. He's going to be with a government man named Derek Holzer, and Derek is taking notebooks so he can take notes on what Brian does, like how he makes a fire, how he gets food. So during the journey, Brian thinks that there's no tension and that the woods are too perfect than when he had to survive before. He thinks that you need the tension created from the emergency. So it's all going well until Derek is hit by lightning during a freak storm and he falls into a coma. Brian is afraid that Derek is going to die of dehydration, so he has to build a raft and transport Derek and him to a trading post that's 100 miles away, if the map he has is correct. So I like this story because one reason was because it didn't end perfectly. Well, it kind of did. Like, it had a happy ending, but it didn't end perfectly. Like, Brian had to do all the work, and yeah. I like this book because it had action and adventure, and I really like those two genres of books. Also, I like fantasy. But anyways, this book had action and adventure, but it was also really realistic. And though it was from the third person, you could kind of feel what Brian was feeling because it gave you thought. Because it said some of Brian's thoughts inside the book. So it was kind of like it was from Brian's point of view, but not exactly. This book is also funny in just the right places, and I think that it was really addictive. Like, once I started reading it, I couldn't stop, and I really liked it. I really like this book. So this would be the end of my book review. If you have read any of the books that I have reviewed so far, then make sure to leave your opinion on them down below in the comments. Also, recommend books you think I should read in the comments as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.